Utah State's Matt Wells in the house. Matt, you've got Chuckie Keeton back after a second straight ACL injury. How's he looking?
I think pretty good. He's a young man that has overcome a lot. Obviously, both of those setbacks and both of those injuries. I think he's become a better leader. I think he's become a better mentally as a quarterback, just from seeing the game in a different perspective. But you just hope and pray that we can keep him healthy, all year. And he's the Chuckie Keeton we all, know and love from his, before he was injured.
When you look behind him, Matt, there's not a ton of depth. And so there's part of me that wonders if you want to maybe just hold him back a little bit from running, or make sure that he's getting out of bounds just to keep him on the safe side.
Good luck with that. Yeah. I mean, it's...
Have you had that conversation with him?
We've talked, yeah. We've talked a little bit.
Do you think he'll listen?
No, I personally think he's gotten to be a smarter quarterback. I mean, you only saw him in 3 games, not even 3 games last year, but in the few games before that, and when to get down, when to get out of bounds, when to throw the ball out, and when to take a sack, when not to take a sack, whether it's first down, touchdown, get down, and I think he just has to be smart with doing that. But to try to bridle Chuckie Keeton is, the reason we're talking about him is a lot of the things that he does in the open field is different than everybody else, and he's so talented and all the God-given ability he has, it's going to happen. And so, he just needs to be smart doing it.
How about a player on the offensive side of the ball that's maybe not making a ton of headlines now, but you have high hopes for coming out of spring ball?
Maybe Devontae Robinson, a young man that came in last year as a junior college transfer, really played well down the stretch at the end of the year, maybe a little overshadowed by a couple other receivers. But I think he's a young man that's had a great offseason, and look for him to do great things this year.
Defensively, you also had an ACL injury, afflict Kyler Fackrell, who, when the media went to vote in the Mountain West, they see him as Defensive Player of the Year. What is it about him that you foresee him holding up on his end of the bargain there?
Well, you want him to get back to the form that he was in 2013, and really even before that in 2012. And I think that's probably why, the media thinks that about him, is because that's how they remember him. And
how close is he to being that guy?
I think he's that guy right now. It was a pretty clean ACL. He's had a great rehab, and he's been full speed with us since June 1st for all the summer. And if we had to play today, Bonnie, he'd be ready to roll.
You had 2 Vigils last year. You're down to 1. Zach left is one of the best tacklers in program history. What makes you think that Nick can rise to that level or perhaps even supersede that?
Well, first of all, it's a great family. It's a great football family. I'm looking for the young Vigil coming up to get them in our program too. But Nick is very much like Zach in a few ways, and then drastically different than Zach in a few ways. First of all, his football IQ, his football knowledge. We call it being a football junkie. Everything from studying tape and going above and beyond. It's just like his brother. He was taught that by his brother. Shade taller, a little bit faster, and as Zach would tell you, probably a little bit more athletic. And so I think Nick's best ball is ahead of him. He played awful well last year as a sophomore, but I think he's got a really high ceiling.
If you were going to give me your top 2 keys to success in 2015, what would they be?
Well, the natural thing is to come out and say we have to stay healthy.
More games. Okay, stay healthy, score more points than the other team.
Yeah,
give me something a little more detailed.
I think to us really probably is continuing to reset the standard and the culture of Utah State, and not just assuming we're going to work hard and assuming we're going to earn the right to win. And I think you have to reset that every offseason. We've already tried to start it, continue it this summer and into training camp, and where we have earned the right to win. And we don't roll out the ball and win at Utah State. That's not how we've ever been. We've earned that right. That to me is that's the key to everything, because it says the leadership, the chemistry in that locker room, which, if we don't stay healthy, to me, can overcome some of those things, and we've done that before.
We do know that Chuckie Keeton is dying to win the Mountain West before he leaves, so no pressure, Matt Wells, but thanks for the time.
Okay, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.